to my channel. So it's probably no surprise that I've become a little bit obsessed with the no-sew journal style lately. And as you can see by what I've laid out on my desk here, I've got a fair few of them in a few different styles as well. And so I wanted to host a little bit of a journal challenge similar to Junk Journal January and July, but for the no-sew journal style. And basically I just thought that no-sew November sounded too cool not to do something with, so I've put together a little prompt list which I will pop on the screen here. And I figured that if you wanted to make a no-sew journal for November and you wanted some prompts for how to work in it, then this might be a really great way to either start your first no-sew journal or to work in ones that you've already made. So as with other challenges, there is a prompt for each day that you can follow along with, and you'll notice that they are a little bit different to the normal journal prompts that I put together, and I really wanted them to fit the sort of way that you can work within a no-sew journal, and you know, the fact that you have the style where they can like open up fully, and you can work across different pages. So you will notice that they are a little bit different, but I hope that it's something that you might like to enjoy exploring in your journals. And of course I am going to bring you along for the month when I am also going to be working in no-sew journals. What I will be doing, because I know that normally for the junk journal challenges there's like daily videos, that won't be happening, but what I will be doing is each Friday throughout November, what I'm going to do is there'll be a video of me making like a mini no-sew journal. So I will be making a different style of no-sew journal and then working with the prompts throughout the week in that journal, and that way then it's sort of a little bit more manageable and bite-sized for me. But if you want to just work in one journal for the month and follow along with that, that's absolutely something you can do. But I thought that it would be quite fun as well if you just want to dip in for one of the weeks or for, you know, a couple of them, then you can definitely do that. And that way then I can also work in multiple styles of no-sew journals as well, which I thought would be something a little bit different rather than working just in one journal for the month. So that's what I'm going to be doing, but I invite you to join in with this however you'd like. So as with other challenges that I host, there are of course no rules with this. You can interpret these prompts and, you know, run with it however you'd like. But I just thought that it would be a really great way to embrace the no-sew journals for the month of November and, you know, just put the spotlight on this really fun style of journaling. So I hope you'll join me. Like I said, the prompt list I've popped on screen, so I'll leave a link to the prompts. They will be on my Instagram if you want to like screenshot them and include them in your journal and follow along for the month. But yes, I hope that this is something that you might join me for, and let me know in the comments what style of no-sew journal you think that you might want to work in for this challenge. So this was Junk Journal July 2023, and you can see the way that the journal just unfolds and is basically just like one big long strip. It's really hard to show you in frame, but it's basically just one big long strip, so you can flip through it like a normal journal like this, but when you go to work in it, for example, you can just like have it be flat, so you don't have any like bulk on either side of the page as you're working on it. So I just think it's a really fun format for journaling, and you can also include little mini signatures as well within the pages. So I really enjoy the little small size of this one, and I actually ripped this in half as I was working on it and was able to just like add in more pages. So you can see, I think it was about here where I've actually just got like vellum that I'd filled the gap with. So you can see there the tear of where I tore the journal. So It's a really forgiving format, and there's loads of things that you can do with it. Obviously it's a little bit harder in terms of having like pockets and interactive elements, I think, just because of the nature of how it's constructed. But then you also get really fun things like this where you can see through the journal itself. So I definitely think that it, you know, they all have their pros and cons, but if you don't like the idea of like stitching and bookbinding to make a journal, then it's a really easy and accessible way of making a journal. So this is a square version of this, and you can see I've included like tags here that have little tuck spots, so it's a little bit more secure in terms of adding extra bits into my journal. I also do have like a pocket like this, so this is literally I think this might have been a bag from like McDonald's or something, and I've just painted and collaged on the top of it, but I haven't actually added anything into it. And I think if I did, I probably would have added a closure on it, just because the way that if you picked up this journal and it might just like, you know, come apart and things. So that's just an easy way to keep everything together. But you can also make closures for these journals, like if you just had some ribbon or some string. So this is an example of one of these junk journals where I haven't actually finished it yet, but it's still got some of my favorite pieces in, with like this altered postcard here with some stitching and some cutouts. But then yeah, the rest of these pages I haven't really done much in them at all, as you can see. But I did go on to the reverse, and I do really enjoy some of these pages here, like with the big florals going across the page. That's something really fun that you can do with the style of these journals. This is also just an envelope that I've added in here as well. But yeah, as you can see, I haven't finished this, so this is just an honest look at some of my junk journals. This is from the 2021 junk journal July, and this one is super chunky. It's got all sorts of bits and pieces going on with like envelopes here, as you can see, and like cutout windows. I've got lots of coffee dye going through all of the pages. I really liked the way that it felt a lot more cohesive and put together, and I do have a more detailed flip through, so don't panic as I'm going through this if you want to see anything in more detail. But I was using a lot of just like stickers from packaging and lots of different imagery to put together these pages. So you can see the coffee theme definitely running throughout, and I think that really helped with creating something that felt very cohesive on these pages. And this is probably one of my favorite pages within this journal, just all the different like stamps and bits of washi tape and things, and how the writing is just sort of there in the corner as well. Also, I really love this little tag here and the pop of white on the page. And I was also documenting like the crochet project that I was working on, because I think when I was making this journal I was also learning how to crochet. So that's funny to see. Isn't it funny when like I look back at my journals and I can like remember like the songs I was listening to or like what I was watching, and it just sort of brings back, like, even if I haven't documented the memories within it, it just really takes me back to a place. I don't know if it's the same for you, if you experienced that with your journals, but I can kind of remember what I was doing when I was making these. So that's always really interesting about flicking through these old journals and having them as, you know, art, but also just memories in a way. And then this is the most recent, my Junk Journal July 2024 journal. Really loved working within this one, and I corner rounded the edges of this one. I've also got this faux stained glass window effect when I printed on some tracing paper, and I was also making like little tiny tags here to tuck into pockets, again using different things of packaging and really playing around with the different layers. I think that's something that I'm really enjoying at the minute, is having all of the different layers within my work and just seeing how I can build those up and experiment with different things. But I've also got like little plastic tip-ins here, so this is just literally like a bag from something, and I've decided to use it as a base for my collage, so it sort of blends into the page there, but I just stapled it in so that I'm able to lift it, and if I wanted to I could add something under here as well. Collaging, I also tipped in, this is an envelope that I altered, as you can see by the cutout here, and I added like a tag inside and also backed it with some imagery as well. But I didn't do too much like tipping in of things in this. I was really concentrating on working quite flat, and that's something that I really gravitate towards, I think, within my journals. Less of the pockets and things, like I do still use them, but I think that I use probably less than I see other people use in their journals. I just really like the way that things look when it's like nice and flat and flush to the page. I just like the way that things look when they are like flush and flat to the page. So that's just a personal preference, but I still do occasionally use all the different pockets and things, as you'll see within these journals. Here's the reverse of that image, so I just decided to leave that as is and just collage around the outside there. And then that is the final journal. So I did actually have a spare page from this that has a pocket, so I'm thinking I might print out the prompt list and maybe also add a note in here at the back, but it kind of felt like it was okay to leave this because with it being a pocket, it really felt like it was like, you know, the back page of a book where you have like the pocket and you tuck little things in. So I decided that's what I'm going to do with that spare page of this journal. So I hope that you're looking forward to joining me for No Sew November.